Hey there, everybody. I'm sitting down and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about here, but I knew I needed to make a video, so I'm making a video. I even wrote down a bunch of ideas, what I could do a journey into. We could explore the energy on current events. There's a lot of current events going on. I was on a pathway to investigating these things and giving people an opportunity to see it a little bit differently. And all of that came to a screeching energetic halt. I don't know what's changed. I've done a couple lives, which I haven't done in years. I made a strange video about the etheric cube. It's a very important tool to learn about if you're studying energy, which, how do you really study energy? You have to figure it out for yourself. That's the best way to study energy, is to be still and to pay attention to the silent flow of everything. And the more you do this, the more you will start to translate the meaning of it like a foreign language. And it won't be so foreign because it's the exact language that your heart speaks. It's like, what is love if it had no language? Well, it would be like that. And love has a lot of faces, and it has a lot of stories to tell, and it has a lot of places, meanings. It's not just Earth. It's so in the whole universe and beyond. It's the fabric of every single thing that lives, dies, lives again. If you're just still, you can start to tap into that. So, I'm not really sure, but something has definitely changed in the energy. And I found myself tongue-tied. I mean, I was sitting there today saying, my motivation has totally changed and I can't change it back. And I don't know what my new motivation is, so all I can do is wait for it to appear to me. And sometimes you can't just wait for things to appear to you. You have to dabble in whatever this new thing is until you figure out what it means to you. And then you've created some new structure you're working with, and now you're doing it in a new way, unexpectedly, going with a new flow. So I'm just going to sit here and tell you this. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing next. I started posting sessions again on my Abbey Psychic Services channel. I go through phases where it's like I can't tell that I'm overdoing it until I overdo it. And then I need to separate from sharing until I'm able to start sharing again. So I might overshare perhaps, but I can't tell until I've shared too much, and now I just have to just stop for a while. and then it'll change, and now I'm sharing again. So I'm sharing again on Abbey Psychic Services. And I was thinking, which I don't have anything set in stone, but it's kind of like this new vibe. I can tell that I've got to do something differently, and I have no idea what it is. So I'll just try some stuff and then see what happens. If I make myself uncomfortable, then I might be getting closer to figuring out what this is. Like doing the same thing doesn't make me feel right because I don't feel like doing the same thing, and I don't know what that means. You know, I've mentioned that it was right about that new moon, Chinese New Year. I'd made 2 videos. I even mentioned how I was going to post them, and I still haven't posted them. That is the moment where everything changed. Like every forward motion that I was in the flow of just came to a screeching halt. And I don't know what that means. But I'm watching the world, and there seems to be a big earthquake happening around the world, and it's a good shakeup. The world needs a really good shakeup. We can't keep doing things the same. We've got to be doing things differently. That includes me, that includes you guys. Now, how can I do it differently? I'm not sure. I was thinking about, okay, what does that mean to be doing it differently? Because when the energy changes like this, and I don't know, I'm tongue-tied, and okay, I don't make videos anymore. That's not, I don't feel like that's what this is saying. And it got me thinking about what is the point of my existence kind of thing. Like, how did I even get to sitting in this chair and being this person? It was the one thing that was present with me my whole life. Is the one thing I have studied on my own and developed this incredible thing that I do that anybody could do. And that feels like the thing that I was born to do. So what is the thing I'm supposed to be doing differently? I don't know what it is. Maybe you guys are feeling it too. Maybe something is shifted. End of January is when I felt it. I'm still feeling it. And maybe it's just a me thing, but maybe there's a collective thing. It could be the way that the whole world is rumbling. You know, the whole world is rumbling. And we're all impacted by those rumbles. Even if it's either directly impacting our life or it's indirectly impacting our life. Everything happening in politics right now is happening inside each and every one of us. We are all impacted by it. Everything in our economies, everything in our futures, everything. It's a huge eruption in the domino effect. I don't know if I'm just waiting for this dust to settle or I don't know. I'm kind of always finding myself, I don't know, seeking out the discovery of something. It feels like the whole world is in a big, giant, confused dust cloud. And what does any of it mean to any of us? Maybe we're all tongue-tied. Maybe we're all trying to figure out what is the point of my existence now? You know? Anyway, sometimes it helps to know if you're feeling this way too. That you're not the only one feeling this way, or maybe you don't feel this way at all. Maybe you're like, Abbey, yeah, you're going through some, this is not how I'm feeling. It just feels that way. So I'm just going to keep seeing what comes next and keep doing journeys, keep sharing. Try and do these lives. I was thinking of doing a live on my Abbey Psychic Services, if that's where I'm sharing sessions. And I could do many sessions out there. Anyway, there I am pondering again. So, I thought I'd do a journey into the earthquake, the dust settling, the tongue-tied, am I supposed to be doing this differently? How? I feel like I've become the person I was born to be, which is pretty special. I just don't know what to do with it. Nothing's coming to me. I don't know what to do with it. So I just keep doing the same thing, but maybe random, because this is kind of random. Sitting down and just trying to talk about what I can't understand. Seems to be a very pointless video, but there is a point to times when we just can't understand and we just need to just say it. And for other people to say, you know what, I don't really get it either. Thank you. I'm not alone. So that's what's going on in my strange world. Anyway, I'm going to relax here and I'm going to do a journey, which, as I described in the introduction here, I'm basically going to be sitting with the silence and I'm just going to present, in the universe what I just said in this recording on camera. I just take that and then I just give it to the universe and see what the universe echoes back. Because how do I formulate that in a question? How do I formulate that into what is it that I'm looking for that would benefit all of us here? Spiritual message, translating the energies, giving us an opportunity to see into something that is impacting all of us around the world. So I'm just sit in the silence right now. See what echoes back. Okay, it's a question, simple question. It's simple until I try to say what it is. They show me, the question is, what are you to do? What are you to do now? What do you want to do? What would you like to do? What do you think you should be doing? It's kind of like a hodgepodge of this. What now? What do you do? What do you do next? It's just a hodgepodge of this, but it's intermixed with a picture. And the picture is, there is a young man who is now put into a soldier's outfit and handed a gun. And it's lost in translation. Did I grow up to be a soldier, or am I asked to be a soldier? Or am I forced to be a soldier? Am I then a soldier? Is a soldier who I am? What do I do now? I carry this gun now. I am a soldier now. That's the question. That is the picture. You can see why it's a little bit more than simple. Let's see what comes next. They're asking me to step into this man's shoes and to face the world through his eyes, full of unknown, even possible death. Not ready for that. I'm just a young man. What's interesting here is there's a lot of hopefulness. There's this sense that, okay, here I am. I feel fearless, I feel courageous, I feel invincible. This picture never goes any further than a couple steps with a gun and a soldier's outfit. It never goes into war. It never shows me people's body parts lying around, blood everywhere, loss of hearing because of the sound of bullets and bombs. Doesn't show me despair. It shows me a clean uniform. It shows me a healthy young man. It shows me a task to do. A task then assigned then decides your life. A task given to you. Now I'm showing a totally different picture. This one's weird. I don't know what I am. I'm basically like a head on a smushable body. Like my body is a puddle and it's squishy. Then my head rolls back and forth on a squishy puddle body and makes strange noises. This is about weirdness, okay? This is a picture that reminds me of what weird means to me. And how do you fix weird? How do you bring out the best of weird? How do you give weird value? How do you just brush weird under the rug? Is weird a task? Is weird something to do with your life? Is weird a way to be, and a successful way to be? Weird. So when I get this question, I'm looking at this picture and I say, well, I don't know how that fits in. I mean, that's a head rolling around on a squishy body. That can't even stand. That can't move. That can't speak in a language anybody gets. That can't be heard. We do want to brush that under the rug. We do want that weird thing to go away. It's not sustainable. It doesn't make sense, okay? It's a non-functional thing. It doesn't make sense. So it represents weird. But it's weird that useless. It's weird and useless. Now they're taking weird and useless, and then they're taking weird and useless and then kind of smearing it on this young man in this uniform and with this gun. And these two are some opposing forces that are somehow forced to blend together in this horrifying scream sound. And they ask me to calculate that math right there and then tell what the answer is to that. So 1 + 1 = 2. And so we have just this young man, soldier, here's the task given to you. There's more complexity to that. That's not just some shallow path, okay? There's a lot of complexity to that, because part of that is it was not chosen. It was given as the path, and the path is the one that you're on. And now what does that mean? But there is a lot of strength. There's a lot of, it's almost like an invincible sense that I'm going to survive this, I'm going to live, and I'm not afraid. But there's no real facing the ultimate test. That we're mixing that picture with weird, okay? So when you mix these two together, it creates a scream sound, and everything kind of breaks in a way. Like it doesn't know what is the meaning of up, what is the meaning of down, what is this contraption thingy that I hold that is a gun, what is this thing? You know, as it's looking at it down the barrel here to shoot its head off, you know, so it's stupid. It's just stupid. It seems like this plus this then creates stupid. And how do you fix stupid? How do you fix stupid? Oh man, I'm starting to get infiltrated with madness. A sound of so much madness and stupidity and insanity and control and lying and convenience and advertisement and mold and shape and I want. It's like adult babies is what it sounds like. Adult babies with too much power. Adult babies deciding the fate of the world. And maybe that's why I'm tongue-tied. Maybe it's hard to know how to fit in right now to this equation. Maybe it's hard to know what I can do right now with the energy that presents itself like this. Because that is presenting itself to me as a response to the introduction. Exactly. So the response to the introduction exactly is this. Then which helps me to understand something about the way I feel or the way that I perceive the world, or the dust cloud, and looking at current events, and naturally politics is a part of that. And what is this massive earthquake in the world is a good thing. This all needs to get shook up. I had this thought this morning about the older you get, the more I feel like your bones become solid. You kind of become ingrained in the rhythm of what you've matched over the years. And so I've become ingrained in this rhythm. My bones have fused together with this persona and with what I study day and night and day. I am immersed in the study. It is my personal quest to understand and then to teach and share what I've learned. That's everything to me. It's my whole being. I can't overwrite it. If I were to do something different, I would still be doing this in my mind, in my heart, and I would still be doing this all the time. I can't get it to turn off. It's my thing. Like I was born to be this person. I was born to do this thing. And I was thinking about, because the energy is so strange and I can't hear or feel the sound of energetic guidance or flow. So I'm just going to do a familiar thing, but I'm going to try to do things a little different, hence the lives, hence starting up Abbey Psychic Services again. Trying to do it differently to see what the response is in the flow of energy, okay? But I'm not getting any help here, you know? It's like, hey there, spirit guides, so what do I do next? It's not about that. Spirit realm isn't about telling you what to do. The spirit realm is about being present with you as you decide what you're going to do, okay? So that's how you live life. Even as a psychic person, you don't just get to know the answers, okay? You get to experience and be present with what is presented to you, and then to explore what it means to you and what decisions do you want to make, okay? So I decided that my bones were fused, you know, and that this is what I've decided is who I am, and this is me, and in the weird, and I guess weird plus, I don't know what would be the word to describe this young man in the military outfit with the gun. It's not his choice. He was chosen to then be playing this role, drafted into this role to be this person, without actually showing me this person is in hell, okay? In real wartime hell. Doesn't ever go there. All right, I'm just gonna chill for a minute, because there's a reason why I was thinking about those bones fused, and I'm tongue-tied, and the world, and the earthquake, and the dust settled. There's a reason why all of this is presenting itself to me in this random conversation that I'm recording. It's reminding me of another conversation that I had recently about when life is peaceful, it can feel very agonizing. It can feel like you're doing something wrong even, because you should always be in a place where you are, in a sense, challenged. That if you're not challenged, then what are you going to do with your peaceful time? And how do you adapt to knowing that you have a time of peace? How do you even realize it? If it's been chaotic and now it is peaceful, how do you realize that it's peaceful now? And how do you embrace what peaceful means to you? It feels like you're going to fight against peace before you can actually learn how to be in the world of peace, and then a peaceful world. And there's something to this conversation and the world today and what we're witnessing in the world. And they're basically saying, believe this or don't believe this, but they're basically saying we are adapting to a peaceful world and we are fighting against that peace. We desperately need conflict because we're more familiar with the conflict or the math here of the weird equation and this young man. We're more aligned with that than what is just sensible peace. And so if we're tongue-tied and we're not sure what our role is, it's because we are more survivors of what has been the world and entering into what is actually what we haven't become aware of is a peaceful new world. A peaceful new world is the world right now, apparently, is what they're saying. That right now we live in a peaceful new world and we haven't adapted to the peaceful new world and we're fighting against it. And that to fight against a peaceful new world is basically the weird equation. I say, but that doesn't help me understand that equation. Like, why that? Like, why that? Explain why that. They want me to be the strange head rolling around a gooey body. And so I'm going to do that. I'm screaming to get out. I'm screaming from the inside, but nobody can hear on the outside. I'm screaming to understand the value of my existence. That is somehow a reflection of what I've been talking about inside myself, but it's not just a me thing, it's a collective thing. A translation of our purpose now. How are we to identify what our purpose is? If something has truly changed, if we are adapting to a peaceful world, if we choose conflict because we are still acclimating to peace. And then how are we to know what our purpose is? So then we're given the purpose to go to war, which is to fight against the very peace that has become our planet. As though that still is the math that makes sense, but all it's doing is clashing and creating this tongue twister. They're asking me that question that was easy but difficult to say. It kind of like, okay, so what do you do now? Who are you now? What now? I had to say, I don't know. But oddly enough, it gives me comfort to know that on some other level, and the way that we could perceive the world today, that we're just fighting against peace. And that something of what I'm going through is just fighting against peace. That truly I need to find my peaceful self. And then I'll have the answer to that question. And in a way, I feel like the answer is to not fight with myself. So right here, what I'm doing right here, because I felt so strange, naturally I'm seeking to find a comfort zone with how I am doing things, because it all feels so different, so unfamiliar, because I'm present with a silent, energetic world. So I'm not just a day-to-day human functioning, trying to emulate the robot that functions. Okay, I'm like a living being that's inhaling and exhaling the silence and feeling with the flow, okay? And I am curious about it. I'm struggling with it. I'm conquering it. I'm an achiever, and I'm a failure, and I'm all these things, and that's what it means to be human, right? Usually you just kind of have a feel, like you have a ground, you have a sense. And so I've been doing things, what is different to me, maybe you guys haven't noticed, but it's different to me because I'm reaching for an answer. And now here in my attempt to reach for an answer, I found one that now is pretty fun to think about. Then that this is a peaceful thing for me to do, is just flip on the old cell phone and have a conversation with all of you. And to share this, because it seems to me that something that I require, it's just a thing that I require, is to feel like I'm helping others somehow. Like I always have to have that feeling that if I've learned something, or if I'm not sure about something, or something's changed, that getting a voice out there for someone that might need to hear it, you know? Because it's just helping one person in the whole world, just helping that one person is huge. You know, we don't think of how big that is, but I feel that's true inside of myself. You know, I had a really interesting session come up, and I don't even know why this is coming to me right now. Well, basically, there was a conflict that I was witnessing. This was a past lifetime. And there's this conflict with this young woman who has these books, and she ends up getting stabbed, and it dies in this meaningless way. This cruel and meaningless, lonely, cruel way, because there's someone that comes down and just tosses her dying body out into the street, and she's just such a worthless part of society. Nobody really cares. And to die in such a way, right? It's cruel. It's absolutely cruel. But there's so much beauty to it on the other side when you see it on the other side. That is a 10 out of 10 life right there. Because the soul that could live a life like that, 10 out of 10. But I also got to know the soul that could toss a body out and not care at all. The joyful emptiness, I'm not going to lie, it was wonderful. It was wonderful to not carry the weight of responsibility for other people. That was the reason why it came back to me. Because I carry the weight of responsibility to the well-being of others. There is a honest weight that we carry when we care about the well-being of others. That is a true thing. If you were to let go of the weight of care that you carry for the well-being of others, so you take a certain level of responsibility in just simply caring about other human beings. And you just feel it every day, day and night, day and night, day and night, whether you're doing anything to help others or not. You just care about people. You just care because you just care, okay? But if you were to take that away, the freedom, oh my God, the freedom to not care, to even throw out a human being that's just dying because they were stabbed, just toss them in the street like they're nothing. And to feel nothing from that, almost like feel better because you got this burden out of the way, this annoying thing of a person. Oh my gosh, it was amazing to feel, because I never felt it before, and it helped me to understand that to care about other people is a weird, energetic weight. But it's a gift. It's a gift too. And so to care about even just the well-being of one person, me turning this on just because for some reason I've got to do something. I got to help somebody out there. I don't know who it is. Maybe I'm helping myself, you know? It brings me peace and it brings me happiness. And maybe that too is in the answer. It's like, so what do you do now? Well, I just turn this on. I talk about some things. Maybe I could help someone out there. Oh yeah, that's that peace. That's that I have a soul. I have a soul. I am not a soulless person. And I actually got to follow the life of a soulless person. And oh man, can it get twisted. And it's just one thing becomes boring. And especially if you have power. Oh, everybody in the whole world is just born for your well-being. And if you have power, then their life is meaningless to you. You could do whatever you want. And the places you could go to do whatever you want, especially if you have money and power, the total ability to not care, but then to watch the soul attempt to live this life multiple times in order to correct the behavior, in order to get the soul back. You die and you relive that. You see that you accomplished nothing. You accomplished the most empty life. Even if you did many things, you really did nothing with it because there was no soul to you. And now that I'm talking about this, if you guys notice, it seems like there's a really strong difference. Like there's people that really see it like this, and there's people that really see it like this. And there's a strong contrast. And you know that you'll find there's conversations about, you could say the empathic person then attracted to the narcissistic person. And then you have this compatible pair because opposites attract, right? But it's creating a severe imbalance. And it's just been something on my mind as well. About where have we gotten to in society, and has society become this way based upon all these exchanges between, I don't know, empaths and narcissists, and what even created in the first place, and then weird, and then soldier boy, and then the screaming and the math, and then we're actually in a world of peace and we're fighting with that peace. It's like, okay, all of this, and then when the dust settles, maybe I'll not be tongue-tied. I think I'm figuring it out. I just keep going with the flow, you know. I just keep doing the next thing, but anyway, maybe this message was worth listening to. Hope you're all doing well. Bye for now.